Welcome back to EBACE TV. I'm Allison Godlove. Joining me now in the studio is Arthur Thomas and Maté, Bajtay, both with EBAA. Gentlemen, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We're seeing everything get set up. We're seeing the whole EBACE 2023 come together. How are you feeling about the week?
Feeling great.
Yeah?
Feeling great. Looking forward to the show. It's actually my first EBACE, have to tell you. So really excited to be here. Looking forward to it. I consider myself as a newcomer and a sort of outside-in perspective, as I don't have a business aviation background. I recently joined the EBAA as an advocacy and EU affairs manager, and actually my role is to represent all these companies in front of the European institutions in Brussels, in front of politicians, stakeholders, and I think this is a great opportunity to physically see our industry and get in touch with our members. Really looking forward to it.
Talk a little bit more about the role that you will play and that you are playing with EBAA.
Absolutely. So EBAA is a classic trade association, and we are there to represent the members. We are there to voice the members' interests. And we do that on the external level, we do that in our communications, we do that in our political advocacy roles, and my job specifically is to translate our messages to political stakeholders, to decision makers that are in Brussels, that sit in EU institutions, that don't know about our industry and have, let's say, some misconceptions, some misperceptions about us. And my job is to translate what we're doing here to their sort of language and tell them that business aviation is not just about, let's say, rich businessmen flying around. It's a flourishing industry. It's a growing industry. It's about competitiveness and jobs creation in Europe, and we're working hard to decarbonize our industry. And I think it's fascinating to sort of interact with decision makers. It's not easy sometimes, but I think it's also very important, this outside-in perspective, someone who comes outside of the industry to know what kind of language these decision makers are looking for, because at the end of the day, they are the ones deciding through legislation what the future of our industry will be. So I think this is a great show to grasp all that, and I'm again really looking forward to it.
Wonderful. And EBAA is such an important tool to the industry, and talking about this, that you're having these conversations and you're defending the industry, that is a big part of the job.
Well, 90% of our job is to deal with persons and people and companies that are against business aviation. And this is a very unique perspective that we face every single day. And it's getting, I would say, heavier every single day. Since last year, it's the pressure on our industry is increasing. So it's always very, very important for people to understand that we are the one defending them. And it's always there is this duality in the way this industry communicates about itself and the way it should be communicated about. It's totally different depending on the audiences. Business aviation used to be an industry that was sort of on its own side, but it's not the case anymore, I do believe. And this is just we are learning this sort of new reality. And I think this is one of the key aspects of our work.
You said 90% of this is pushback or protests. What are some of the big topics that you're getting a lot of pushback, and what do you say?
So I would say there are plenty of topics, but the two biggest pushbacks there is one, in fact. No, let's face it, there are two. Sustainability, the sustainability credentials of this industry. Business aviation pollutes more than everything else in the planet. So that's the number one. But there is a hidden component into that, and it's often sort of strongly linked with the first one. This is the symbol of inequalities. Business aviation is perceived in the society as a tool, a toy, as a sort of luxury. And this is just the absolute symbolism of inequalities in our society. And you know, although this is slightly easier to deal with that in the United States, for instance, in Europe it's getting more dense into those sort of discussions. And yeah, this is a worldwide industry, you know. Those players here, their business, their markets is the planet, is the world. And they have to address that totally different manner. So it's what makes our work pretty interesting and living. So those are the two main pushbacks. Sustainability, what does this industry do first? And you have people who are just against it. By definition, there is nothing to convince them. Otherwise, they want the disappearance of business aviation. Total wipe out of this industry, that's what they want. And we are addressing that. And for the majority of other people who are less sort of radical, it's just that they don't feel comfortable with the luxury aspect of it. It's indecent, the indecency of this industry. Flying business aviation is not decent. And this is the other thing we need to address. And this is complex.
But that's the importance of EBAA. And that is why you have a booth here. You want to have these conversations while we're here. So talk a little bit about that part of your job and what you're going to be doing here this week.
I mean, on my side, my work is to deal with the data. I measure everything I can about business aviation. Business aviation is polluting. What are the emissions? I try to be the one, you know, calculating it and having sort of the aggregated view of what is this industry credential when it comes to emissions. Is that increasing? Is that decreasing? Is that flattening? We don't know. We need to calculate all those sort of things. Another things we do, and I think this is something that Maté is voicing extensively, is that there is a reason why business aviation exists. It's not like it did not happen like this just for fun. The reason is that there is a specific need for transportation that cannot be addressed otherwise. And our role is really to voice this message to the people that are not convinced of it. They all believe that business aviation can be removed. It's just like for fun. And we try to demonstrate as much as possible that it exists because there is a need for it. Every time we hear like, you can take the train, well, my work is to calculate and to demonstrate with data that there is no alternative. Your role is to explain that to the politicians. So, voilà, that's what we do, and this is really the core mission of EBAA.
Yeah, well, wonderful. Well, thank you both for coming by and talking with us, and hopefully people will come by the booth and have conversations with you as well.
Absolutely. Find us at our booth, and looking forward to chat with all of you.
Yeah, enjoy your first EBACE.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Bye.
Thank you.